and we live. We'll do that during the banner portion of it. So we'll wait for a little second as she tag everybody, and we live right now. So let's go ahead and get to it.
Hit it.
Uh, so we live. We here July the 9th,
Mm.
the year of our Lord 2024, and we back in action.
Back in action. It's a wait first. Welcome to Tanky Tea of Life. I am your host, Veronica. Tanky Tea of Life is where we talk about any and everything. So, for those of you who are, first time watchers, it goes down. We twist and turn. We may be on one topic, but then 10 minutes later, we're on a different topic, and then we'll go back an hour later to the topic that we was at the beginning of the show. So it's just how we roll. But yes, Tanky Tea of Life, where we talk about any and everything. Co-host Vic White, is back with us.
How y'all feeling?
This Tuesday. We have Brother Fatine all the way from WBLS radio station, New York.
What's up? What's up?
And we have a special guest
Can't stop
tonight.
showing them pearly whites. Look at her. We got a little baby girl in the studio tonight.
Always smiling. We have Precious Tony with us.
Are you a Tony?
tonight.
I am a Tony.
Oh, God.
That means we cousins.
I ain't talking about the other Tony. I met a female Tony that worked in the mall.
Oh,
And so she's cousins too.
There's
So she's
so
cousin
many
with
of
Mom. Yeah. Erica. Her name is Erica.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's my girl.
All us
That's
family.
my girl.
Everybody
Oh,
family.
Lord.
There you go.
All us family. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome, Precious.
Precious,
Thank you
precious.
for having me.
Yes. So good to have you join us tonight.
We'll see if she'll be
Precious.
smiling at the end of the show, but we'll just see what happens.
Precious attends my workout classes.
I do. I think it's been, 2 years now since I've been on your classes?
Yeah, about 2. Seemed like 3, but yeah.
Ain't like, feels like forever.
Yep.
She work you out?
Yes.
I know. I've been to her class. She didn't think I was gonna keep up, but I kept up because
Oh.
I was the only male there, and there's nothing but beautiful women, so I can't look bad.
Ah.
Hell no. Hell no.
Alrighty then.
Damn right.
Yeah. So welcome, Precious. This is a great night for you to be on the show.
Adult night.
We have adult night.
Adult night, baby.
We have an email writer, and she definitely can help us out. I don't know how much I can take it.
We gotta break the new ones in. Sorry, we gotta break them in.
For one, you don't want her mother or her father, nor her cousin Marvin to get on you.
Or
Okay?
her cuz Vic over here in the corner.
So please back off.
Gotta have
Already.
a squad on you. Gotta get jumped. Keep on.
All right.
She ain't single, y'all, so I know that part. I respect my boundaries. I know that part. But I take no prisoners. Nobody, I don't disrespect nobody, but I go in. I don't back up from nobody. Your mom and pop can come here, and if I disagree, I'ma disagree.
Okay.
I'm a grown man too.
All right.
There you go. I put on my pants the same way he put on his pants. Remember
On your
that.
Tombstone.
Right.
Yeah. We all can go up to
Don't
Tombstone and
forget
visit
about me over
you.
here. I'm the protector as well. Okay.
Shh.
And she
Yeah,
drove
yeah,
too?
yeah,
Back
yeah.
up.
Yeah, how she gonna protect and then she get her blood pressure up and she lose her thought. She gone. Once she get mad, she done mad. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. All right, I'm quiet. I'm quiet.
If you need me to kick him, just say something.
Shit. Let's go.
You right here. I got you.
Yeah.
Don't let them workouts fool you. Don't think don't think them workouts is like spinach from Popeye. Don't think that now.
Oh, I
Watch
know.
out.
I know Veronica
Oh,
worked me.
yeah.
I got the muscles to prove it. Thank you. I
Okay.
testify to Veronica's class.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Blow you down. I got you. Mm-hmm. See, he's starting. Precious. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Precious.
She a grown woman, y'all. She can hold on.
And is.
She
Showed
in the-
up.
She in the
And
she in the lion's den.
and She have backup.
Showed up.
We got 2 sheeps over here with 2 lions. Got it. Let's go.
Rawr.
You run like him with a white lion.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. So this is how we starting out the tea. Yes. All right. Welcome everybody. Hey Michelle. Hey, who's that? Queen? I can't see you that far. Sly, thank you so much for the stars. We appreciate you. No, that's Karen. Hey Karen. Lance. Who else we got on here? I see Kay watching. Darlene. Yeah, I may need those. I may need those very soon. You know, working on a computer for so many years, like, is no joke. Your eyes really become a little bad. But anywho, we are back together on this Tuesday. Hopefully we will not have to use this tonight. So how was everyone's weekend?
Y'all
Victor,
start
would you like to go first?
So I know my weekend is nowhere near as star-studded as something other people's
Right.
weekend. So I will say, I'm gonna let Veronica pretty much talk about what happened Thursday, on the 4th. So I'll just go into my weekend. It wasn't too big. I went to the Butler Heritage basketball game over there in Hartsville, and then Sunday I had the privilege of meeting Marvin's big brother that came down from New York, and we hung out for a couple hours. And I must say, he's from Brooklyn too. I couldn't remember what part of Brooklyn he lives in. He's from here, but he lives in Brooklyn. And I will say, the more New Yorkers I meet, the more I realize that y'all are not all the same. Everybody's different. The temperaments are different. He's just a cool guy, man. And I never met a bad person from New York. But I've always had this stigma in my mind that New Yorkers was just these overbearing type people. But the more I get to start paying attention, I realize that was just some stigma that people would put up. But shouts out to everybody who was fellowshipping with us Sunday at the Snooty Fox.
But should I let you go last?
You got to go
I mean,
last. You
Because
got to
listen,
go last.
you had a big weekend. Precious, how was your weekend?
It was peaceful.
Peaceful.
It was my first weekend after I got a new job working at home.
Okay.
You don't get no bail for that shit. Hell no.
That's the only bell I'm gonna give you tonight.
That's
But go ahead.
smart.
After 7 years of hard labor, I made it.
Hard.
Okay, come sling some doors at Lowe's. See what happened. Yeah, I did heavy lifting. I could build a whole house at this point.
Okay.
But it was my peaceful weekend. The dogs don't like fireworks, so we were
Oh,
sitting there
yeah.
cuddling the whole time. But it's fine. I was for it.
Yeah. The peaceful weekends are the best.
Mm.
The best.
Couldn't get no better.
Okay. So was you finished, Precious? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you good.
So, starting with July the 4th. No, I'll go back. Starting with Wednesday at Mr. Sammy's place, I had the opportunity to fellowship with his family. They had a seafood, what do you call it? Seafood night.
Boil.
Yeah, boil. And I already met two of his sons, if I'm not mistaken, but I had the opportunity to meet his other son. I think he lives in Colorado, so he was home for the July 4th weekend, and we just had a great time. I'm in the family, yeah. But Mr. Sammy, I appreciate him and his sister Carol. They have big hearts. They always, Mr. Sammy, he'll open up his house, not inside his home, but have a big cookout every 4th of July. And he invites the entire community. Whoever wants to come out, they can come out. Victor and I, the next day, well, the seafood night was just for, immediate family. So I had an opportunity to do that. Thursday was when
Cookout.
everybody, yeah, the cookout. So Victor and I, we was out there amongst other people, and we had a really, really great time. And they have big hearts, and there's what you call Southerners that love company, big holidays or whatever. So we had a wonderful time. This weekend, what did I do? Can't remember. Oh, I spent some time with my sister, and just did family thing over the weekend. So I had a great weekend. So back to you, big time.
Hold on, before you go, I just want to give a special shout out to a few viewers that were there. Sly,
Yes,
Sly was there, continuously coming with the stars.
Stanley.
Stanley was there, Miss Doretha, and special shout out to, I'ma just put her Facebook name on there, Miss Emily
Yes.
Watson, Petty Betty, whatever the hell y'all call her.
Yeah.
She was the reason I got out the bed, because she hit me up and was like, hey, you want to go to Sammy Crib? And I was like, no, I'm in the bed. And she was like, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, all right, so I'm going to come. So shouts out to Sly for getting us some banana pudding, and we didn't have to get up from our lovely hostess that was there.
I need to hire me one of them people to bring me some pudding too.
So
Some pudding.
that's all I want to say. So I'm gonna turn it over to Fatine.
So let me just say this first of all. And this is from my heart. Just looking back, because as you said, Facebook name Emily had reached out to me, but I saw your post where you bought flowers.
Yes.
You bought flowers for Sister Carol. Yes, and that was just beautiful. And let me just say, even though, and I'll get into my weekend, it's touching to know that you build camaraderie. When Mr. Sammy was here last week and his sister joined us, on the tee, and to invite us all out, for 4th of July, that means something to me. And to me, sometimes I that's what I do, is I mingle with celebrities at times. But what really touches me is when we just get around people that don't have the names, but they're good and genuine people. So I'm just saying this. I'm not saying this I'm really saying it from my heart. When I saw, and I was glad, I heard Victor's voice in some kind of video. But then when I saw the pictures and saw Victor was there, I was so glad that Victor and you, and then of course, like I said, Emily reached out to me and stuff like that. So I just want to say that to all those that attended, but kudos to Mr. Sammy, his sister, and his family for that. For me, I attended with my my morning podcast team, Joe Dupree Anderson, my other co-host, female sister Jax, was not able to attend, but I was at the 30th anniversary of the Essence Festival of Culture in New Orleans. And yes, from Cash Money Records at the concert Friday night. I mean, first of all, the skies opened up, so it took us 2 hours to get to the concert because we couldn't get a cab, we couldn't get an Uber, and then the Vice President Harris, was across the street from my hotel, and there was a frozen zone. So we had to walk up the blocks, but we had to wait for the rain to stop. But the people were there, and it's just the people that came out. There's a lot of people that attended. It was just so many things to do. Yeah, I get a chance to meet the celebrities. I got a chance to chop it up with Wayne Brady. And I know MC Light. I've known her for years. But just to come out there and see so many people, and then the young kids, young entrepreneurs out there, young entrepreneurs out there that are having businesses, people that are making their own wares, and to see kids selling books and creating books out there. So it's just about us being excellent for a weekend where we came together. I didn't see any problems. I'm not saying anything didn't happen, but we didn't hear of anything. And then Usher was the second night, and then Janet was the third night. Of course, other people in there, but Cash Money shut that SOB down.
Really?
And Lil Wayne did show up. No Drake was going to come in there. Kendrick Lamar got him in a hole. He's like the groundhog. He ain't coming out no time soon. But I had a great time, and, shout out to my team. But, all around, I'm just glad that we all had a good Independence Day extended weekend. So that's it. And I'll be off to Baltimore this Thursday for my cousin's father's side family reunion. So I'll be moving again. Oh, I fell.
No.
Yeah, I fell. I was walking with Sister Melody Campbell. She's one of our civil rights leaders that goes to the White House and
Yeah.
deal with a lot of our issues. And I was going to take a picture with her, and I tripped over a light, and I had my backpack on. I went down hard. I'm bruised here, starting to turn black and blue. I cut up my legs, but it is what it is. You know, I didn't break anything. So but you just take it in stride. So, and all the people show the love and concern. Was I embarrassed? I mean, of course you fall, but I popped back up. You know, it was nice to be picked up by 8 women, so I ain't got no complaints.
Oh, boy.
Shout out to my girl KC, who's a little under the weather. That's in here. That's my girl. That's my special friend, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Well, damn.
There you go.
Okay. Well, we love your honesty because you didn't even have to share the part that you fell for.
Oh, I know. I'm aching. My knee swollen over here. I
Really
tell the good with the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate you and all of your. I see that you've been posting a lot, so thank you for that. Next year, I will be at the Essence Festival with you all. Okay.
I look forward to it.
Yes, I've never been to the Essence Festival, and someone asks me every year, "Are you going to the Essence Festival?" And I always say, "No," but it always be like a week before the Essence Festival, but never ever been. Even the radio station never sent us to Essence Festival.
Wow.
I always had the opportunity to be the one to go for to the Steve Harvey Hoodie Awards. That was
Right.
my thing. As far as being the one to go for the radio station. But
It's interesting you say that because Ricky Smiley has his own morning show. He kind of taking the reins from Tom
Yeah.
Joyner. And when I've known Ricky, and so he comes in, and now I have to interview him. I got to interview somebody that does interviews.
Right.
But, we got a chance to chop it up. And if folks that follow Ricky know that some months back he lost his son. And, I told him I could not say that, even though we're in a joyous situation. I had to personally offer my personal condolences and stuff like that. But just to meet so many people, and a lot of them are just so down to earth. They're not snooty, and having a good time. So I would love for all of y'all to come. I would love for that, and to get y'all to meet some of the people and meet you all and stuff like that. Yeah. So I look forward to it, and I pray, Lord willing, that we all can get there next year.
Well, I met, and then we're going to get to the email letter. I would say 2 snooty celebrities.
Who are
Everyone else that was, I met or, interviewed over the radio, they was very cool. Chris Tucker was one. He was not down to earth.
Okay.
And the guy that played on the sitcom, 3 celebrities. The guy that played on a sitcom with Malcolm Jamal Warner. I remember they had a sitcom
Flex.
together. No, not Flex. The
Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin. Nope. I don't know if they've been having a bad day, but then again, you got to understand WBLS is a really, really bigger radio station than here in Florence, South Carolina. So, some celebrities, they look at smaller markets a little different than they do bigger markets, even though, smaller markets give the same support as big market radio stations as well. But, and I'm just saying, I don't know. They could have been having a bad day.
So let me just comment on that real quick so we can move forward. So that's not cool. And then my Just Nick is our afternoon DJ at WBLS. So she was the priority. We were there as the podcast. We got our credentials as #TruthBeTold. After the second day, they were bringing people to us. We shut that room down. There was a lot of good people in there interviewing, but they liked our style, the energy that we gave, and they started bringing us the celebrities. So I hate when that happens. But we was there as the podcast, not as BLS, not as Reverend Sharpton.
Okay.
And we put the energy, put the work in, and they respected us to the point they was like, who are you guys? You understand? We went live, we did this, we did that, and everybody else, they were interviewing. We went live with some of our interviews. So I hate when they do that. They shouldn't do that like that,
Yeah.
What's her name? Terry McMillan. She did that. She came on our show.
Yeah.
She came on our show on BLS. And she was just lackluster. So M. Toomey said, hey, Terry, this M. Toomey. What's up? Because he was like feeling, what's up?
Yeah, yeah,
Now all of a sudden she don't know nobody in the room, and now she knows him too, May.
Yeah.
Now she picks it up. Like, don't do that to people.
Right,
That's just not cool. That's why I started with Mr. Sammy's event, because it's nice to be around the celebrities, but I want to be around genuine people.
Yes.
So I'd rather be around real people who don't have names versus being around people that have names and have personality, character flaws. I don't want to be around them.
Right.
Now we got to still realize that these people human now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they deal with things. So I mean, nobody, when it comes down to you cool. When it comes down to other people's, things, so to speak, then it's you having a hard time over there.
Yeah, it's not working.
The whole thing ain't.
There we go.
When it comes down to, sometimes, people just feel, might having a bad day. So, celebrities deal with people a lot, and you deal with a lot of people. Sometimes you just
And-
not into it.
Yeah, and that's what I said too. They could have been having a bad day, but you got to shut that down. You got to know when to shut down your personal, whatever you got going on, personal, and when. Because this is an interview that I was having on the phone with them. Like, we talking about, because they was coming to the city.
Oh, okay.
For, like, Chris Tucker came for his big comedy show. What was the other name?
Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin came when he was with, it was like, I think 4 or 5 of them when they was on a big comedy tour together. So we interviewed them like one by one. One day
That's
he
different
called.
if y'all
one.
interviewed. I thought you just met them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
No.
different. Yeah, so they knew they was in a public setting.
Yes.
I agree with you
Yeah.
on that.
So you got to know when to shut it down. But thank you, Fatine.
And
Appreciate
you're welcome.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. So
Why you get? Wait a minute. How does our guest get? Why you got water?
she brought her
I
own
brought my
water.
own water. I can't be prepared. No, you been here how long?
I
You
love
should
it.
know better.
That's what I'm talking about. Get it,
Yeah.
y'all. Jump on. I just want to see if you ready.
So,
That's my gift, because you usually have to bring libation. So pass that over here. That's libation. All right, let's go.
Okay.
so before Veronica get into the letter, I just want to express something, just something small, and it has nothing to. I want to stress it has nothing to do with nobody in this room. Not one. I am not talking to anybody in this room. So we all got this. All right. So I think certain situations, when someone is having an emergency, that is not the other person's priority. And I think sometimes when we get into a bind or a situation and you ask for some help, if it's not met with the same urgency as you're in it, then some people tend to project their emergency on somebody else. You get what I'm saying? So let's just say I was stuck on the side of the road, all right, and I call Veronica, and I'm like, hey, I'm stuck on the side of the road. I need you to come pick me up. And Veronica was like, Vic, I'm in the bed. So now I'm mad with her because she ain't coming to get me. Like, she's not making me a priority in her life. You get what I'm saying? And I don't like shit like that. Like, I can't tell somebody no because you're in an emergency or you're in a bind, and now your emergency is supposed to be my priority, but not knowing what the hell I got going on in my life or what I got going on at this time.
So that's an interesting. I've never had this conversation. This is interesting. I think a lot of times when we pick up the phone, and the person that we usually call, we usually pick up the phone and we think that person would look out because we would do the same. And I had a coworker who was stuck on the side of the road, white guy. We had our differences. We had our differences in opinion, but I liked the guy. And he called me. He kept blowing up my phone. I finally answered, and I went and got him. I went and got this guy, and then he takes me out to a whole community, white folks, where the mafia lives, and we broke bread. Vic, that's an interesting thing. Depending on what you got going on, sometimes a person can call you an emergency and you just can't get there for them, or you can't just drop any and everything for them. But the question is, do you think if you understand what I'm saying? If you picked up the phone and called that person, would you expect them, or would you get upset if they couldn't make it? How would you handle it on the other end?
So me being who I am and how my life's set up, I wouldn't call anybody because I don't want to put my burdens on you and you react not how I want you to react. So I would feel a certain type of way if somebody told me no. So instead of me putting you in a situation that it can be some tension because you did give me an honest answer, I'd rather try to handle it as much as I can, or I call a stranger, AAA, a cab, something like that. But I think when we call people who we consider friends or people we care about, you automatically want them to say yes. And that other person feels obligated to, come to your aid because you call me. But if I can't, I can't. And my no should be sufficient enough, not met with, all these other different words coming after that. No is no. But sometimes when we let people down, we're like, oh, well, I got this, and this going on. Then, oh, well, that ain't really important. You need to come get me. It's like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Because at least I gave you why I can't come when I could have just told you no.
I like what you said. You being honest. You said, because if they give you that, and it also makes me think, if someone calls me, like I just received 2 calls. One was from my cousin, and when me and my family got flooded out, lost everything except what we had on our back. And when my cousin came over and looked in the window and saw 18 feet of water, not inches, 50 feet of water, she was like, you could stay at my house. Where? You got 2 bedrooms and you got 3 kids. Where are we going to sleep? Oh, the kids going to sleep with me. So I already told my cousin, anything you need. She doesn't bother. She's like you. I'd rather not. But if she picks up that phone, hey, cuz, I need a favor, I feel obligated. And I told her that. Now, have I returned that favor? Maybe I have. But I just feel in debt to her because I feel that she went the extra mile to take her kids out of her bed. I hear what she said. We family, we blood. And I call my cousin name out, Julie. But that's how we roll as a family. But I feel obligated. Same with Debbie and Pat. You know my cousin Pat. We feel obligated. But I've learned now, and when I tell people you can call me anytime, I don't give that to everybody now. Because if that phone rings and I told you, you understand? Then I'm going to be there. I don't care if I got a woman there or whatever, I'm going to be there. Only thing that would have helped me if Hanifa was there or somebody I'm dealing with that's sick and I can't get there. But other than that, I try to be there because you just never know when you need somebody. But Victor, that was a good point. That's interesting.
Well, I'll just tell you right now, sometimes I just don't feel like doing it.
I know you don't.
I just don't. And I'm not, like I keep saying, your emergency is not my priority. It's not. And I hate, it sounds rough, but I think in order to protect myself, I am not going to be at everyone's beck and call. If I ain't never seen you naked and your private parts ain't never been in my mouth and vice versa, I ain't coming. I mean, it sounds like that, but friends need to stop expecting boyfriend.
This is grown-up conversation.
No,
okay, I just want to see you say. Okay.
What I'm saying is that friends need to stop expecting boyfriend and girlfriend, wife, husband duties from their friends. My wife called me, no question, I'm gone.
Gotcha.
My girlfriend called me, depending on where we at in life, I'm going. A friend, it's because I don't keep score, but it does stay in the back of my mind. Like, damn, I done did all this shit for you, but never ask you for something. Return the favor by not asking me shit.
Do you have someone that you can call?
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want to give.
I got people, but most of the people who I got in my life that would do stuff like that are men. And I know if I call them, they know, hey, man, it ain't no bullshit if they can't come. And if they tell me no, I understand it's a no. Right. And if they call me, I get that. But I think the line is blurred when we start dealing with the people with X chromosomes. Right. They don't understand I cannot be there for you because I'm not your man.
Now, Veronica is interesting Now, I wasn't really, really busy. I was doing something that day when you called me and you was distraught. Your dog got hit by a car. And I heard it in her voice. So I stopped. I stopped everything. You need me to come. She needed to talk, and I felt obligated. I told you, I drop whatever I'm doing to come. You understand what I'm saying? She said no. I followed what she said, but I made sure that she said she was okay, or at least enough to go where she had to go and deal with this. Because I told her I would be there, and it depends, some things that are obligated I can drop, and then there might be something that is just very hard to drop. But that day, whatever I was doing, the priority was you once you called. And and I'm just glad I was there. But Victor, that's a great point.
Well, see,
everybody's emergency is not the other person's emergency. That's
and people saying they drop whatever, but everybody's situation is different. I got a 1-year-old. I'm not getting him up to go tend to you. That ain't happening. And I'm not gonna leave him in the house with teenagers. That just ain't gonna happen. Where I go, my son goes. So everybody's situation is different. But I'm not picking my son up out no bed to go pick somebody up. If I was your last resort, yes, I would do it. But if I felt like you had other options, I ain't coming.
Tim Johnson got to put his little 2 cent, Brother Fatigue. You just like that because you light-skinned. We dark-skinned brothers make them wait. So I make sure I don't call none of them dark-skinned people.
So what about you, Precious?
The way I feel is it depends on who you are to me and how I am to you. It depends on if I call you, number one, that means I feel vulnerable enough to ask you for help when I really don't like to ask for help like that. And when it comes to that, if I reach out to you and I give you this same energy, I expect it back because I feel like we have that strong enough of a relationship. But if someone were to say, well, not to say it's like if they were home asleep, but they ain't had nothing else to do, it's like, bro, what do I mean to you then,
But how would you know that, though? You that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't know that.
How would I mean, if they told me, like, listen, bro, my car broke down. What you doing right now? I'm in the bed asleep. I got work in the morning. I need you to do me a real big solid. Come pick me up because my car broke down. Is that okay? Bro, no, I got to go to bed or I got work in the morning. But I'm a whole female out here stuck on the side of the road by myself.
See, them too many words. See, first of all, them too many words. Because, you got to understand, if you're somebody in my life, if like you said, if I tell you I can't, that should be sufficient. When you start adding more words to it, it's going to complicate the situation. Because I'll just say this, a lot of times when you question somebody about their decision is where the offense comes into play. So if I feel like my no should be sufficient, hey, Vic, can you get up and get me? I can't. Why? See, now I'm pissed off. Just that fast because I told you I can't. And that should be sufficient, and our relationship shouldn't change, in my opinion.
And it's interesting. You talk about relationships. So for family, and my cousins can speak for themselves, they drop things for family. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. How do I know? We done been in family fights. We done had, my cousin, Pat's sister, and my mom's was there. And my mom's was holding my cousin Debbie. And my moms didn't know that the other family had lied. And Debbie said the only way to get my mother off her was to hit her. And she said, I got too much respect for my aunt. So she said, I braced for this lie. But they didn't throw it. But when I told my cousin this guy was bothering me, I got this. She rolled up on a man. You know what I'm saying? So for us as a family, when one is not feeling well, we pretty much drop any and everything. But that's how we roll, and that's how we roll. Like you said, it depends on what they mean to you and what it is. We get that call, we pretty much drop in everything, and we got to roll. And that's how we do. But it's a good question. It's a good question.
What about you, Veronica?
Yeah, I'm pretty much I pretty much feel like they feel because I wouldn't want to be stranded and no one. That's just like Noah put something silly in the comments, which I know he is lying. He says, "Let one of my cousins call me 2 in the morning, and they say they're stranded. You better call an Uber or State Farm." Lies. 'Cause Noah is one of those family members where he will like he's a protector. So he definitely is not gonna have me side the road unless he's like working out of town or something. And even in that case, he'll call someone and have them to meet me. But yeah, I mean, I have a big heart. But like sometimes you have to say no.
Sometimes you do have to say no.
Sometimes you do have to say no. I try not to because, like I said, I will want that same energy when it's time for me to need someone. You know what I'm saying? And I expect that same energy from them. But you got to know who you're dealing with. Depends on who you're dealing with. You know, I'm not going to call somebody that I talk to every 3 months to come get me from the side of the road. I'm going to call that person that I talk to often. You know what I'm saying? To come help me out, not just, got to be kind of close to me.
You know who you can call.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, you know who you can call. And I understand that, if you can't come, you just can't come.
Right.
But there's going to be a day that I'm going to need somebody and they're going to tell me no. It's going to happen. But I like to draw that line, whereas if I'm not this type of person with you or with whoever, you can't call me because you in need. We ain't got that kind of relationship like that. And I don't want to be that friend that you can just call and you ain't doing shit for me. People tend to will keep taking, and they will never give shit. And they think they giving, but they ain't giving nothing. I can get conversation from anybody. I can get some ass from anybody. You know what I'm saying? But when we talking about a true friendship, everybody can't give that.
Let me go to Victor on this one. Besides family, because this is my family watch this. Again, this the disclaimer, so y'all should make sure y'all, besides my family, and I don't want to get sentimental on this, but this is interesting, Victor. And I just had a conversation with somebody recently. I told them I'm scared. I live by myself now. And even though I have family around, I'm not counting them, I'm scared because I know what I've done for other people. I don't think I will get that same treatment, or I feel I will not get that. And I tell you, when I think about it sometimes, it'll bring tears to my eyes because I do it from my heart, and I realize that. So I'm not doing it looking for somebody to do it back. But I haven't been down. I told my daughters, y'all haven't really seen me down besides a cold or the flu or whatever. Even when I had COVID, I wasn't down. So y'all are not used to that. And I'm scared. I am really scared if I get down and I have to put a call in to my daughters and they say, Daddy, I got to go to work. I'm scared that I've given myself. It would hurt. But I understand that some people are not me. I'm not throwing my kids on the bus because they've never been put in that situation. What I'm saying is that's why I don't ask for anything, because I feel I'm setting myself up for some other pain, because what I've give, I just don't think some people will give what I've given. And that's hurtful. And like Victor says, that can mess up relationships.
Oh, most definitely it can mess up a relationship, just like money can mess up relationships. That's why you have to be careful lending money to people.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I don't like asking people for things either, unless I really, really, really need it. Because you don't want it to become a problem between the relationship that you two have.
And Tyrone makes a good point. He said that's called manhood. Who cares what a man needs? And I really feel that way. What he's saying, who cares what a man needs? Because I also, I live alone too, and I can't afford to get sick, because like we were on the podcast one time, and I told you one of my biggest fears is falling in that house, slipping in the shower or some shit like that, bro. It would be days before somebody would even know, because my kids, they text me, they call me, but if I don't respond, are they really coming down there? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? My mama will pop up here and there. My job maybe say, do a wellness check. But if I was to crack my skull tonight, cuz I'm out of here. But I'm okay with that because the reason I say I'm okay with that because there's a lot of bullshit I don't have to deal with. You know, when I was at Mr. Sammy's cookout, I was like, damn, this is some nice shit. Like, damn, you know, if I'd have had, you know, somebody here and, you know, whoop de whoop with this camaraderie, and then I got home and slept in the middle of my bed and was like, I love this a little more than, you know, having to deal with, you know, whatever. And I know I'm focusing on the negative side of relationships,
Yeah,
but
that's good.
that comes with it.
It's
Yeah,
pros and the cons. It's the pros and the cons of
it's-
your
Yeah,
situation.
and it's definitely the pros and the cons. It does, okay, and since you brought that up, do that not make you Precious is a little younger than us, but does that not make you all look at life a little different? Like, dang, I should be, you know, settling down,
Oh, yeah.
hopefully finding, you know, someone that, you know, I can settle down with because we're getting older. You know what I'm saying? And having someone in our life that's going to be there with us, protect us, support us, you know, all of that good stuff.
I would want. I won't go as far as say settling down, but I would want to have somebody that I have that special kind of relationship with that will check on me, that I'm comfortable with them having a key to my place or whatever. I want something like that. If it's not to the point that it's a relationship where you moving in or we living together, I would want it to be so comfortable. And, you know, I don't have a problem with that, you know. If it's friends with, hate to use let's use the word situationship. I think that's better to say friends with benefits. I think a situationship with somebody special, family knows them or whatever, and you know this is how we rolling. I want somebody that got my back because I got your back.
Yeah.
That's how I roll. You understand? Even when I went through a bump with Hanifa, when my daughters called me, they didn't say "come, daddy." They was like, "I just don't like the way mommy's looking." When the next time they called me the next day, Daddy, we on our way to the hospital to check on mommy. I said, I'm already here. I'm already here. So that's how I roll. That's how I am. So I wish I did have that special person that had my back like that because that's so important right there.
So when you talking about settling down, I feel like I am settled. I'm just settled with myself. You know, one thing that I am learning to do is it's okay to enjoy yourself because I can't enjoy somebody else until I enjoy myself. So I'm appreciating my singleness, so to speak. But when it comes down to that companionship, or should say companionship versus a relationship, I ain't there yet. I had this conversation with a group of dudes a couple weeks ago. And they said, if you've been single too long, it's hard to get that shit up. And I've been single, I think, almost 3-4 years, somewhere up in there. And coming home to a home and everything is the same way how I left it. You know, I know what the bill's going to be like every month. It ain't shit. When some shit get tear up, I know who did it. I understand this now. You know, I know what's in the fridge. Shit might be old or whatever, but I am okay with who I am and what I'm becoming.
Different phase for me. You know, when I was 27, I was like, okay, I think I need to settle down because I don't want to have a random baby with anybody. I was already rolling the damn Russian roulette anyway. So I was looking to get in a relationship. Victor, I mean, you have a 1-year-old now, but you still have kids that are teenagers and almost one adult. I have 2 adult children. So my responsibility is different. My outlook is different. So my outlook is, you know, when I was 28, I felt invincible. I'm older now, and I'm looking at things could be shorter in life. So now I'm looking for more of a quality type life, however it is that works for me.
Facts.
That's
What
important.
works for you,
Exactly.
not what works for everybody else. Because, you know, people will look at whoever situation and say, oh, you can't be happy because you ain't got somebody. And it's like, how you know that? What's good for you might not be good for me. You know what I'm saying? I like and my neighbors would tell you this. Bro, I love sitting in my garage, in the back of my garage, got my little cigar, and I don't come outside. My house used to be the party house. We used to throw cookouts every weekend. And I got tired of that shit because I'm like, that's cool and all. I like the camaraderie, but I like being by myself a lot. And I'm learning that, I like what I like. And what I like is what I like.
Precious. So, like I said, I used the age where I was at in my mindset. And no kids. Like you said, you have fur babies, you have pets, dogs. What is your thoughts? Because I talked about my past where I was at. Where's your mindset on this?
So I come from a different kind of approach because I was always that kid that was in like the gifted and talented programs. Everybody would say, "Oh, you're so smart. You've got so much going for you." Then you get out here and it's not happening like you think it's going to happen. And that'll down you real quick, and it'll put you in a situation where you want to like start trying to settle with anybody. Can't do that. And that's when you start to really learn yourself. Like, I'm fine being by myself. I want to be with somebody. I am with somebody. But besides
Clean that up real quick. Hurry up and clean that one up. Go ahead.
Besides the point, if I'm with somebody and they're doing nothing but hurting me or taking away from my experience in life, I'm fine being by myself if it means I get to be happy.
Right.
And if you're coming into my life to be with me, you have to be somebody that's supplemental to what I have going on. You don't have to take it over, and we don't have to give one side more than the other, but there has to be a balance there, and we have to be coexisting in the same kind of headspace, basically.
Facts. I love that answer.
Yeah.
Coming up during wedding season. Everybody about to start getting married, and this is about the time that Vic will do something fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? And I get what you're saying about something. When I say something stupid, is you go to these events and you see these people in love, and then you look, and I'm looking like, okay, I'm dressed up, and I'm sitting here, and I'm looking here, and I'm like, I'm surrounded by, love. You surrounded by, true love, and you like, I want that. But that's when you have to say, do I really want to press the issue and find somebody, or do I want to let it happen organically?
Well, and Victor, a lot of times we and I get what you're saying about going to weddings and stuff, and we're surrounded around couples, and couples get on the dance floor and they dancing and having a good time, whispering in each other's ear, whatever, lovey-dovey, hugging on each other.
My kind of stuff. Let's go.
But you got to realize we're not in their household.
Facts.
People put on fronts when they out in public.
That's true.
We don't know what is going on inside their house. They could be the most miserable people when they get home.
That's right.
So I never base what I'm going through, my singleness, on to couples, what they have going on, because we never know. Peace is so important to me.
Peace is.
Let me just say this, and
Right.
again, I'm pretty transparent. Like I said, 32 years, Hanifa, and at the end hit a little bump, and that happens in life. But I look back at it, and it made me feel good. It made me feel good when other people talked about when they came to the house, because you're right. You never know what's going on in the household, but when people could come into your house, and they feel that energy, and they see the same or feel the same energy when you out at the ballpark or in the mall, and when they come to the house and they see y'all interacting, because people used to come like, how do y'all do this? You understand what I'm saying? And it was like, do what? This is who we are. We never had to put a front on in front of people because we were who we were all the time. I mean, of course, you have the little blemishes that, inside. But overall, I felt proud that anybody could come to my house and be around. I was so comfortable. It was times when I was in relationships with a woman, I didn't always feel comfortable how that woman may respond to some of my friends. I would put up any one of my friends that knew Hanifa and talked about how they related with my late wife. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't mean to put her on a pedestal because none of us are perfect. But I'm just saying that it feels good when you are in a relationship that really, really works. It's not a chore, and it's a different type of feeling. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, it's not, and it's still, we still sometimes want to have our cake and eat it too, even if it's going good. That didn't stop me from looking but we kept it real. So when she would be with me, she would be like, I know you look. And I told her, I know you look. So what the hell? We ain't going to front in front of each other.
That's a fact.
We didn't front in front of each other. So one day I'm going to have y'all speak to my daughters, And if you want me to put them on the show, I'll put them on the show. Let them go.
I mean,
Let them go.
I
boy,
tell you, going, being this whole, I know you got a letter, Veronica, but going into this whole singleness, and I, there are some things that I do miss. I miss, riding and being, because I ride a lot on the weekends, and I miss riding with somebody else in the car. I miss going grocery shopping and being with somebody. The unsolicited touches, shit like that. I miss. No, we being transparent. I miss the unsolicited touches. I miss the random fucked up text messages that you got to tell somebody good morning, all that other
butt grabbing,
that silly shit too. I mean, I ain't calling you silly, but men don't like their butts up. But anyway, I miss having to watch something I ain't really want to watch or laugh at your crazy jokes, but I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to intertwine my life with someone because I'm enjoying who I am right now. So I will say that.
So you're talking about as far as settling down, but what about just having that person that you can call and be like, hey, come over, can you come over tonight?
Hell
Or
no.
You don't want none of that.
Nah, because
none of that.
none of that. I mean, I'm on this damn near I'm damn near a virgin again. But I will say this, that shit complicates things. Because like I said, and I ain't trying to be funny when I say this, I can't just have sex with somebody. It just don't work. It won't work. There has to be some kind of feeling and some kind of emotion there, and I ain't gonna be just sitting there pumping my ass away. But if we had sex, you're gonna think I love you, be just by the way I just do it. That's just the only way I know how to do it. So I'm not gonna blur those lines with a random when I can just go ahead and just get the real damn thing.
Well, that's not my books, y'all. So that's that side of the road. I'm on the other side. It was raining on that side. It's sunny on this side. Because I ain't got no problem with a random time to time. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be by myself.
I hear you.
I'll be by myself till I find somebody that I can vibe with. Cause
I don't believe in that.
For me,
never did.
It's more of I don't want to go through this whole. Cause I'm an emotional person to begin with, and so I don't want to get wrapped up in this situation, and then next thing you know, I start feeling some type of way, and you're not feeling the same. It's gonna be a whole sticky situation. I mean, you can say up front what you want, but at some point in the back of your mind, you start feeling the person you're with. At some point in the back of your mind, you're gonna want more, and then you're gonna start feeling some type of way, like, man, I know I want them, but I know they don't want anything. So what can I do?
And I understand that. And the reason why I understand that, and I respect what you're saying, and I hear that more from women, but it does happen to us men. Because I was transparent about this. I already said what I had to say on that situation, but my emotions opened up on somebody, and it caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And that person, we was moving like that. But I know what you're saying. But unfortunately, when I was single in your age, I was not gonna have blue azules. That's balls. I wasn't doing that. Not playing with myself. I dated different women, and some I slept with. And at this stage of the game, I'm not running around, but I'm not sitting here at this stage, and really no stage when I was single, to say I'm waiting to hold myself for that right one. I'm not doing that. No. Nope.
And that's your opinion, as you should.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's different.
Exactly. I told you we need to do after dark, but nobody want to do it.
Because we could go on and on and on this topic right here.
Oh, one more thing I got to say, Precious. There comes a time, and I don't know if Vic has this, because one thing I say about Vic, and I never asked him this question, but sometimes he puts out his job, and I think I can't sit there and say Vic enjoys his job, but I think he enjoys that he is capable to do his job. He knows that when he's called out of town, he's not being called because he can't do the job. He's called because he does a good job. And sometimes you have to be arrogant sometimes. So when you said you put in this work in the school, and then when the reality comes, sometimes you have to be arrogant, not to look down on other people, but to say, I know I'm capable. If this one turned me down, I get this. I'll keep going. Don't never let that. If you get knocked down, keep going. That's my word of advice to you, Sister Precious.
It's a learned
Goes right
thing.
into the letter.
Yeah.
Hey, no, don't
Oh.
tell me that.
It goes
It's
right.
a learned thing. Yeah.
So one thing, and then and I can say Precious may come back up to the mic, sweetheart. One thing I will say that maybe y'all two might not understand. My job, anytime between the hours of 7 till I get off work, anytime my phone rings, somebody has an issue that they need for me to repair, they need for me to fix. When you were slanging them doors, has a customer ever came up and said, "Hey, ma'am, how you doing today?" and not want something from you?
Yeah.
And I think some people don't realize that on our jobs, depending on what we do for a living, that people are constantly taking from us each and every day, and nobody is actually saying, "Well, I just wanted to know how you doing today," and going about your business.
Yeah, they just ask you for what. Do you know where this is? Can you help me find this? But they're not asking you, hey, do you need help with those doors? No, they don't ask that.
They don't ask
They
that.
don't ask that.
So sometimes I would, when people ask for things, sometimes I just am not in the mood to help nobody that day. So
Sister Quran said, and she said,
where we
Then we
at?
gotta get
confident
to the letter.
or arrogant. So I responded confident. No, disagree, Quran. You ain't, but Dean ain't coming at you. This he ain't coming. I wrote confident, but I looked up the word arrogant because when sometimes you have to have a little arrogance there, but not arrogance where you're stepping on people. Because I looked up what arrogant means: having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. So forget the importance things because that's when you play into the ego. But sometimes you have to be, like I said, Victor, he knows his job. Sometimes when it's not being arrogant that you're looking down on people. It's just that I know what I'm doing. I'm capable of what I'm doing. And that gives you that confidence. So I will lean on that word confidence. Sometimes I use the word arrogance as a little sprinkle of salt on it, just to just give you that extra push. But you're right. It's really being confident.
And what you're saying, you're right. But only thing I will say about that is people's perception of confidence. Like, however I come off is how I come off. People can say I'm arrogant. People can say whatever. It is what it is. It don't bother me if somebody say, I'm arrogant, self-centered, narcissist, whatever. I don't care. As long as the person who I'm trying to be good to doesn't think that way, I can give two shits what somebody else thinks about me. Because if I don't need them, they definitely don't need me. So let me leave it at that.
Great topics. That was really good to kick off the show. So we do have an email letter tonight, guys. And when I read this letter last week, and then when I spoke with Precious, I was like, oh my God, this will be a perfect time for Precious to come on the show because she's in that age bracket. And it is very, very important that we, talk about this because a lot of our young adults are out here lost.
Losses, I don't know what.
So here's the letter. And for those of you who are just joining us, thank you so much. We are Tangy Tea of Life, and this is where we talk about any and everything every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. All right. So it says, hello, I have a question. As someone who is on the younger side of the age bracket, 28, I'm curious about what y'all think about how people my age are growing into themselves and their careers / marriages versus how the older generation has before us. I try to work on myself and my own growth, but it's hard when everyone around me is either already married and have kids or they have weddings planned for the rest of the year. Or they have such successful careers and jobs and seem so happy. I feel like I just don't compare, as well as don't live up to the expectation. I don't live up to the expectation I have for myself and what others important to me may have expected. I want to hear the perspective and experience you all have had in coming to yourselves so that maybe I can see if it's just something I'm not seeing or focusing on, or if I need to just reevaluate how I think about these things. So I think this letter is important for someone at the age of 28 to reach out and because we've all been there. You're not there yet. Well, you're 27.
I'm starting to
But
get it together. Starting to.
I this letter is important because a lot of our young adults out there that around this age 28, some even 30, like they're not there yet. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing in life yet. They are they're beating themselves up every single day, worrying about people that's surrounding them. And let's go back to what you were saying about the wedding and how we looking at other people and their happiness and all that. They're doing the same thing, and some of them are sitting around, worrying about, oh, they don't have that good job that they friend Joe over here has, or they're not married yet, they don't have anyone that they're settled down with yet. All these things, even us as adults, some of us still sit around and worry about. But the younger generation, they're really beating themselves up hard and they're crying out for help, and a lot of times they're getting overlooked. Like, we're not paying attention to these young adults that are trying to reach out for help, that's trying to they're doing things for attention, but they're not getting it. So this is when, and I hate to bring this up, but you look at the suicide rate that's going up, and the drug rate, all this stuff that they're turning to because they don't have that right guidance in their life where they can go and have deep conversations about things that's going on. And I can say right now, at my age, in my 40s, I'm living my best life right now. Like, in my 20s, in my 30s, yes, that was great. But now I feel like I'm at this age, I'm really finding my own self. And I think because, for a young age, like, I've always been in relationships. I've always been with someone. I had my son at the age of 28, I think I had Chad. I was at the 28 years old. So 28 up until now my son is 19. Like, I'm still a mother. You know what I'm saying? But he's able to do things on his own. He has a car. He's able to drive himself to work. He can provide for himself. He can pay for his meals and do all this stuff. I'm really beginning to now live my life, and I feel great. So we can't beat our children up because at the 18, we can't say, get out, you're 18, you're an adult. Like, these kids these days, they don't know where they're going and what they're doing yes, have responsibility, of course, but we can't beat them up because, like I said, I'm living my best life at this age. And it took me a while to get here, to love myself and to love what I'm doing. Not saying that because I've been in radio for 25 years, 26 years. I love that, but it's like freedom now. Yeah, I can go on and on, but I'm gonna turn it over to Victor.
So I'm gonna take a different approach. This younger generation is lazy as shit. They have no drive. They feel entitled, and they all around just lackluster humans. I work in a very, very demanding place. And we've recently just hired some 20-year-olds. The last two hiree classes they had is 20-year-olds. And I wouldn't take these fuckers hunting because they just sorry. They sit on their phones all day. They have no drive to learn anything. They have zero, everything I feel like everything is given to them. They didn't put forth the time and the effort to learn their craft. And when they come into these career, these once in a lifetime jobs, they don't appreciate it. It's like you want to challenge each and everything somebody say, because it's just in your nature. I look at my son now, and I'm like, shit was just handed to him, and that's my fault. I tried to take the guesswork out of it, but what happens is he's 18 years old and don't have a clue on what to do, and that's my fault. The only thing, my 13 and 16-year-old are same way, so they pretty much lost in the sauce too. So I just have to focus on my 1-year-old right now. But this generation is very, very, very entitled. This is the phone era. I feel like my parents said the same thing about me. I didn't really get it together until after I graduated college. And I was 27. And when that happened, I had one child taking care of 3. So I had no choice but to grow up. So I really feel like this generation here is just, I'm not saying they lost, but y'all on the damn path that it ain't looking too good. Go ahead, Fatine.
Let our guest go.
Well, going back to how I grew up really structured. I did a lot of stuff growing up. My mom had me in church. I was praise dancing, playing piano, singing on the choir. I did pageants. I did a lot of stuff to well-round me to kind of prepare me for life. And I was grateful for that because I wish I had some more of it, honestly. But once I got out of that structure when I graduated college, I think I was 22. I graduated 2019. And once you get out into life and you have all these people boosting you up saying, you're going to be so great, you're so smart, you can go so far. Well, you get out there and you don't go nowhere. It's like you get out there and it's nothing like you thought it was going to be. Then everybody starts asking you, so how you doing? When you going to get a job with your degree? When them kids coming?
Exactly.
The pressure.
And that's what starts taxing at you as you're growing up. And it's just like, man. So then you start going to your job, trying to focus on your job. And you learn that a lot of these jobs don't care about you.
Not at all.
At all. And then that's what really breaks down what could be a lot of good employees, a lot of good workers, is these jobs don't care. Y'all grew up at a time when, the owner was a family friend. He looked out for you. You looked out for him. You worked hard for him. They don't give a damn about that nowadays. They give no fucks. I'm sorry.
Damn, that ain't even sound right coming out your mouth. But go ahead.
It sounded smooth. You was cool. That was good.
Oh, my mom
I can see.
no cuss.
I see where you at. I know what kind of person. Take them glasses off. I see where you go. But keep going.
I told you.
I love that.
But it's like they don't, and that's why when we start coming to these jobs, like we're smelling the bullshit. That's the phrase I like to use. That's the phrase we're using because when we come into these jobs, we want to make sure, like, difference between old job and my new job, it is so peaceful because the team actually cares. The staff actually cares. I feel appreciated as a person, and it makes so much more of a difference about how I feel about myself versus the old job, which was a more toxic work environment, and it started to affect me mentally and physically after a while because a lot of people don't realize your mental and emotional has a lot to do with how you treat yourself and your body. And I had to learn if I wanted to get my body right, I had to get myself right. And I had to start evaluating what was around me, what was affecting me, and start from there. My first focus was come to work, go home, that's it. After that, I started to get a grip on what bothered me, started listening to who around me was causing issues, because the more you have to be careful about your friends and sometimes your family too.
Yes.
Because depending on who you allow in your life, there'll either be people who boost you up and help you through things as a good way, and then there's people who will invalidate your experiences and just bring you down, and then it's not going to work out later on, and that's what causes a lot of stress. That's what caused me a lot of stress. I had to learn not everybody is your friend, no matter how friendly, no matter how nice, no matter how well spoken, no matter how smart you were in school. Some people just don't care. And I had to learn that. And I had to learn to be okay with being by myself. And if they were going to think 2 things about me, well, think them. I don't really care at this point. I just do what I do. Now I'm happy.
Right.
And then that's when I started looking for jobs that made me happy. Even if it's not what I want to do with my degree, or in the end, I'm still in an environment that doesn't tear me down. I can go through life and develop as I want to, you know?
Yeah.
And that was a hard lesson for me. I think it took me 6 years to learn that. So it took me a while. I was lost for about 4 of them. So the last 2-3 years was really my heavy growth period. And once you start going through that period where you grow and you learn to look at yourself and work on just yourself, and step away from friends, partying, going out every now and again is fine. But sometimes people will call me, hey, you want to go? Oh, man, that means I got to get up, got to get dressed. Like, nah,
Just say no.
I do. I'll be like, man, no, I can't even do it. And that's fine. And then, and in that time, I was working on myself, stepping away and doing what I wanted to do. I grew so much, got a new job, put more people in my life who actually care. And I'm getting the same energy back. And I'm learning to watch people's actions and how they say what they choose to joke about.
Right.
Because, people can always sit there and say, oh, you got such a pretty smile. And, some people be like, stop showing them gums.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yeah.
Why would you dissuade me from trying to smile? Just smile.
Right.
It's stuff like that. You have to go through a phase of really looking at everybody and everything around you, and dissecting how deeply it affects you.
Right.
That's what I had to do. So
That's why I say, and I'm sorry for Tina, I just had to say this little thing for the last thing that she just said. That's why I'm like, I'm protecting my peace at this point. It is so important at, I would say anybody age, but especially at our older age, where it is
point over here.
important to surround ourselves with people like-minded, good energy, good vibes. Like, I don't want any negative, bad energy around me anymore. I don't. I just want to live a life where I'm smiling, where I'm happy, I'm doing things that I love, I'm surrounded around people that I love and who love me. That's what I want. I don't want to have to worry about who is talking about me behind my back, or, who is doing this and who is doing that. All that negative stuff, I want gone. And trust and believe, God will remove those people, and he will reveal those people to you, and he will move them. And you'll be like, well, dang, I ain't talked to such and such in a long time. That because God did some moving.
So, first of all, I got to give a bell for this panel. This is the first in a long time we went on a round robin, and you all said something significant but different, but to this. And the first thing going to the letter is the problem with the expectations of other people. When other people, again, you care about what they have to say, but when you're your own person and you're moving, and you know what I'm saying, some things we will get wrong, but you have to concern yourself about you. You said that. You talked about protecting your peace. That's something that as life goes on, you learn how to protect your peace. Victor said something that he blamed himself on something. And a lot of times we parents are to blame on how we messed up our damn kids. I've said this before. We hold their hands too long till we baby them, and then we expect them to go out in this world, this tough world, and not prepared and not armed for this world. You understand what I'm saying? You have to arm and train your kids the best way you can. That don't mean they're not going to slip and make mistakes. Now, what Victor said, I agree with him on this. Me and my cousin talk about it. I don't want to bring a broad brush because we have a young person on the panel tonight. And I'm glad because now we don't have to talk about y'all. We could talk with you and share these ideas. So when I say what I'm going to say, I'm not going to broad brush it. But Gen Z are fools.
Oh, yeah.
Gen Z are fools. Some of these young people, my cousins, we say they're lost. They lost. All they know is this. You understand?
Hey,
they don't know how to
That's the
communicate.
problem.
I just did an interview with a actor and an actress. They're talking about relationships, and they're talking about how Gen Z, and there's an article out there, how they're killing flirting. They don't even know how to communicate with one another. How they're killing this. And like I said, we have someone here. Like you said, your parents put into you. When you put into a person, you hopefully get out what you put in there. there. So for this person, the address this person, and y'all are really good tonight on this. I'm serious. To this person, you gotta know who you are, and you can't allow. Even though I understand how expectations, my father died 1985. I did my job and his job. On his deathbed, he said, I didn't think you would be able to do it, but I seen you become a man, not only do your job, but my job. Because he trained me. He trained me late because my mom's babying me, but he trained me late. But I had to get in there and get it, and I had to do it. So when and I've talked about this, when my father's laying up in St. Mary's Hospital in Brooklyn, and my mother at the same time is in Kings County on another side of part of Brooklyn, I got to go to work at Billboard, come home, and deal with a super job because of my father. You understand? If I was a soft ass, then I couldn't have done it. I couldn't. Who am I complain to? My father's on his deathbed. My mother's in the hospital. Who am I complain to?
The pillow.
I can't. Got to keep going.
Got to.
Got to keep going.
You ain't
I'm
got no
22.
choice.
I'm 22, 23. Not 28. I'm not 32. Somebody put in here 37. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. That don't mean you don't make mistakes. That don't mean that you say, okay, I was renting and now I want to be a homeowner. Yeah, I understand that. But at 37 and I got to hear I'm still trying to get it together, something you did wrong.
Well,
Something you did wrong. And again, I can't pour a brush it. We all make mistakes.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there's certain things in life, there's stages. And when you get into that adulthood and you get out of that college or you don't go to college, you come out and go into those jobs. Because I know how it is, Vic. Luckily I did go to college because I didn't know at 18 where I want to go. But my parents didn't say what to do. You either gonna go to school or you gonna get a job. That's all I had. That's my
it.
options.
That was it.
That's it. I gotta figure this out, and I figured it out.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's it. And so my advice is part of my experience. But to the letter, thank you for being a young person and writing it. But also, don't let other people influence you. But it's nothing wrong to get people's opinions, but you have to make the final decision. There's nothing wrong with take pros and cons, but you have to make that final decision. And don't let other people's expectations of you weigh you down when you are out there trying to do it. If you're a lazy ass, then yeah, it should weigh you down because you look yourself in the mirror and you ain't doing the right thing.
and another thing that Precious was saying about on the job and how they don't, yeah, they don't care. A lot of these jobs nowadays, there's so many young managers out there. Like managers, like when Chad first got his first job when he was working at Taco Bell, the general manager was 19. I think Chad was 18 when he worked at Taco Bell. The manager was 19. I'm like, what? Like, this is why these kids are on these types of jobs. And not saying that they would have a 19 or 20-year-old at a plant or something like that, but I'm saying like these jobs that kids first, start out with, restaurant or whatever. These managers and stuff are really young, so these kids go in and they thinking, oh, I can play over this person, and the person let them do what they want on a job, and and then that's when these kids really think, okay, these are these jobs really gonna be? I'm really gonna, have my own way on these jobs and stuff because that particular manager let them have their way. But when they get in the real world, on these real jobs, that's when they really they're going to wake up and see, listen, it's time to grow up.
One quick thing, and I know, Vic, you want to get in there. Real quick, I was just say, when we moved out of one location, my landlord, I wasn't a homeowner, my landlord was 27 years old. 27 years old. When he sold that house at 27, he got $800 and some $1,000 for that house. Don't tell me you can't do it. Sometimes we rely on age. If you're a go-getter, a lot of parents groom their children and teach them how to make investments, how to do this. I'm not talking about, he had no silver spoon. He said it. I had no silver spoon in my mouth. But he said, I come from a large family, and my mother wasn't going to baby me, and damn sure my father wasn't going to baby me. I learned early on what we needed to do So we didn't have to be reliant to someone else. We're going to own our own home. We're going to do this. We're going to do that because it puts us in a better position. By looking at him sometime, it made me say where I went wrong. But I was proud of this young brother, 27, and he did not act like he was responsible. He was responsible. I treated him with respect. He treated me with respect. You understand? And then he asked us to move early because he wanted to sell the house. And he paid for the move. And he paid for the move. Not only the move, he paid for us to go into the other place. 27 years old.
Yeah, but you got to understand, 19 and 20, that's a big difference from 27. I mean, when it comes
Yeah,
to...
that is a big difference.
Yeah.
But how old is this person? He said he's what?
That's a man. I thought it was a.
Oh, female?
Yeah,
How old is she?
28.
That's what I'm saying.
So this is my thing. I wanted to kind of touch on, to get a little personal here. Some of these. So when I was talking about my personal experience, some of these kids, and I ain't trying to brag, some of these kids at this age can't handle the money and the responsibility that come with some of these once in a lifetime jobs. That's what I was talking about. I seen some people there. Mr. Sammy says, I want to touch on this. In most cases on your job, you're only a clock number. So what he's saying is correct. But when I first got there, to my job, I wanted to be the man. I said, I want to be the damn man. I want to be the go-to man. And the go-to man don't pay no different than the sorry man. Because we're a union facility. The sorry man and the go-to man pay the same damn thing. But I had a sense of pride with my work. I consider myself a craftsman. So when I go to a job and I finish a job, it's going to look a certain type of way. It's going to be neat. It's going to be cleaned up, and it's going to look the best way I can. These 20-year-olds don't give a fuck. Only thing they want to do is, does it work? And that's it. My man coming here with his teeny shorts on, he's a craftsman as well. Mr. Herman Chapman, CMG Studio, he's a craftsman as well. When we leave jobs and we do jobs, you can rest of assured it's going to be the same way if the factory put it together. I'm going to make it look like this is how it's supposed to look. These 20-year-olds, only thing I see they care about is I can finish this job fast enough so I can get on Instagram and TikTok. And they don't take pride in their craft. Now, is it a maturity thing? I think it is. But I blame the job for hiring these guys this young with little to no experience. And I don't appreciate shit like that. That's why I feel like I'm 43. I shouldn't even be training a 20-year-old. There should be an apprenticeship program for him to work himself up to. But you start hiring these guys at 23. We got somebody in there 21 making this kind of money. He's ruined forever.
What kind of money?
If you throw a number out there, it's probably close to it. Let me just say that.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, I got in the work world, and it's crazy because you go out there, and I say this to you, Precious. I had an electrical engineering technology degree. I did get an offer from Bell Labs that became Lucent Labs. I wound up turning that job down because my father got sick, and I had to travel. Being in New York, I had to travel to Jersey and a little, so insecure or whatever. So I wound up going to a place where I was a salesperson. That's not what I do. Then after I quit that job, I wound up going at Billboard, and I was in the mailroom.
Yeah.
I was in the mailroom with a college degree. But that didn't stop me. I worked myself up. I became the first computer person there. When I asked for a raise and they didn't give me that raise, I went to an agency, and and that's the first time I worked in the World Trade Center, and I worked for Chase. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't like the job or the opportunity, because I never went into a dead-end job, if I couldn't move up and grow, because I always had expectations, and on my review, this is what I want to do. I want to see this. So when Victor say 23, 24, at that time of the year, what I was making, then compared to now is different. Back then, at 24 years old, and you making $40,000 in New York, that's pretty good, in the year I was in. You understand what I'm saying? 20 years forward, I walked out of the computer job making X amount, got into radio full time, offered 15,000 more, and then moved myself up to where I'm at today. And to me, it's about moving up. I'm at the time now. I enjoy what I do, but it's time to slow down now. You know what I'm saying? So, but I always want to see where young people, like if I came in your job, Victor, at that young age, I'm already thinking because I was already groomed in high school, mechanics, this, that, and other. So when I come in there, I'm listening to you. I'm looking forward for you to teach me the ropes on what to do and how to move, because you're going to tell me how to move and how, don't do this, don't do that. I'm giving you. So I'm going to look at your wisdom.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for that. I want that. I crave that.
But I will say this, in this generation, I know you're going to get to your comment. I will say this. I tell people all the time, and I guess this going to be the arrogance of the confidence. You can't do what I do.
Right.
I can't do what you do. So if you see me have a rapport with somebody and I'm up in arms and I'm very flamboyant and doing this and doing that, don't think you can talk to this man the same way that I just talked to this man. Because, and I tell any young guy this, we already have this rapport. He knows if you come to me with some mess, I'm going to get your equipment repaired, but I'm going to also let you know what happened, why it happened, and how can we prevent this from happening again. Now, if you got operators out there that's tearing up shit, I'm going to let you know. I'm not going to just go over there and fix it. So that's another aspect about with the customer service. Even though we all work for the same company, you're the customer, I'm the whatever, the mechanic. I still have to give you good customer service, but like the older lady at the job or whatever, I can give you a little attitude and sass too. But don't think you can just walk in the door and do what I do. But I also have to be mindful. I can't act that way when you got some younger guys with you. So go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to get to Brittany's comment, and I'm glad she came back with this because I agree with her when she said that she was at the age of 37 and she's still trying to figure it out. She says, "Trust and believe I have my shit together. I am a wonderful mother to 2 beautiful children. I have my own home and I have a great career. I'm figuring out who I am as a woman/person. I spent my entire life doing what everyone else expected out of me. Now I'm living for me." And I can attest to that.
I mean, that ain't how she put it out there the first time. So
But
that's why. I mean, she'd have put it out there like this, then my response would have been different.
I knew. I kind of figured out that's where she was going.
Well, I can't,
Not
I
as
can't
far.
I go on with
I mean, woman to woman. I kind of felt what she was saying when she threw that out there, because a lot of times we are, at a younger age, even in adulthood, we are trying to live for other people, if that makes sense. We're listening to what other people are saying. Oh, you should do this. You shouldn't do this. Oh, like I wanted to be a flight attendant. My parents said no. Lady came to the house all the way from Charleston at the time to sit down and talk to my parents about, flight attendant school and all this. This was before I started radio. I had other plans. But I'm just saying, they flat out told the lady, no, Charleston is too far for her to go to school. Charleston? And my parents are probably watching. They know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, a lot of times we grow up and we're listening, and not saying we shouldn't listen to our parents, but at the same time, we have to have a mind of our own as well, especially when we're choosing, college and choosing our career out of high school. I feel like we should be the ones that, saying, having a little say-so in what we want. I know our parents want the best for us, but at the same time, I could have been flying. I could have been a flight attendant, baby, flying for free. But I'm just saying, so I felt what Brittany was saying when she's saying she spent her entire life doing what everyone else expected out of her. And that's why I said now Veronica is living for Veronica, and I am living my best life. I have certifications. I'm doing something big that no one knows about right now. Like,
What's
it's
his name?
hmm.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
But I'm saying, like, it's so many.
You got her
There's
full right
so
there.
many things that I still want to do in life, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to accomplish those dreams and those goals. I don't care how old I am. I'm going to make it happen.
You supposed to.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. But see,
thank you,
that's the
Brittany,
point,
for that.
and this is where it's good. Where we can twist it. When we in a relationship, if it's not going to hinder our relationship, because we kind of got into this, because like Victor talks about time, and it may pull time away, especially if you have children. And to the sister 37 that got her, she got her act together. It's a different stage now, and I see that now. What she's saying, I got that now. I understand that. But I'm just saying, when we end these relationships and we have children, we got responsibility. It should still not stop you from taking a course or whatever. I'm not here to get personal. I just don't believe in that, and my parents didn't believe in that. At 18, my mother and father didn't say I must do this or that. I mean, they said this or that because they wasn't going to keep taking care of me. But if I chose that I want to go in the Army, that's my decision now. They raised me. Once I got 18 and 21, 18, I made my decision. I told them I want to go to college. I needed a little bit more money. They had to go take that loan out. But I told them what I wanted to do. They backed me as parents because this is what they felt they had to pour into me. But I made that decision. I made those decisions. We can sit and talk, but they always said, this is your decision because we raised you. Now you have to make the decision. We can give you our opinion, but we're not going to, as a grown man, make that decision for you.
Yeah, my parents, they didn't play that. I mean, my parents, they was very strict. We was church going families and still are. I mean, and I thank God for my parents. I thank God for how my parents raised me and my siblings. Like, because honestly, I wouldn't know where we would be if our parents didn't raise us the way that they raised
That
us.
structure.
Yeah, we had structure, and I thank God for that. And see, Chad don't understand because I tried to instill in him the same thing that my parents instilled in us.
Do you ever have a
know?
conversation with your parents and ask them? Because I don't know if you do or don't. Because some folks, they feel it's disrespectful to do that. But I asked my moms. My father was just, again, I wasn't old enough. When I use the word old enough, wasn't as experienced. But I asked my mom certain things, and she would be honest. Yeah, we did this wrong. But this is why we did it, because we were scared that the streets, we didn't want to lose you to the streets. See, at least they were honest why they did it. My question is, you're grown now and you respect your parents, but do you ever ask them, do you think that was the right decision for the flight attendant? Do you have, because I think we can learn from these conversations from our parents, especially when we get older, because then they can tell you what they were thinking when they made that decision, where you may not even have that insight at that time.
Well, my parents are my parents, and I respect my parents. And I don't. I think we had this conversation once before, since way back when. I had that conversation with them, but I never threw it up in their face because I knew they had good intentions.
Oh, no, not to throw it up, just to have this question.
I mean, like I said, we talked about it maybe once, but I know that they was looking out for my benefit, for my good. You know what I'm saying? My parents were very protective over all of us. So, and then
Can
me,
it be overprotective?
they probably was, and I'm overprotected with Chad. I'll give him a little leeway now, but and he thinks I'm mean, but he does a lot more than when I was coming up. I was a baby, so I know my parents was, I had a little more freedom than my brothers and sisters, but at the same time, my parents treated me as, I was the baby, and they didn't allow us. We never had sleepovers. None of our friends could come over and have sleepovers. We could never go to our friend's house and have sleepovers. And I thank God for that, because I know quite a few people that have been over to even family members' houses, and they've been molested or, touched in a way that they shouldn't have been touched. And I praise God for that. And if you ask Chad today, Chad never, when he was small, went over to a friend's house for a sleepover because
I never had no problems, but
Be-
each his own. You know?
yeah, because I was going by the same rules as my parents, and
You
I'm
ain't
like,
did nothing wrong.
and especially if I don't know who your friends' people.
Oh,
No, now I'm not gonna say that he never slept over at my brother's house with my nephews. Now he did that like during the summertime. He may go over for a few nights, or they may come over, our house for a few nights. But just spending the night with random friends who he's calling a friend in elementary school or in junior high school, heck no.
So I'll say this: when you didn't, in my opinion, you didn't do nothing wrong. You raised your son, and I'm glad your parents did not let you go to flight attendant school, because who knows what would have happened, So I'm glad everything turned out the way it did, with you. I had a conversation with a guy, and I'm gonna just say his name. I had a conversation with Mo Murphy Sunday, and you know Mo, you don't know Mo, so Mo's very outspoken. So I was talking to him about a situation where my son got a speeding ticket and tried to hide it from me. And I was just, ranting and, like, man, this, do this and this, that, and the other. And Mo said, well, the reason he didn't tell you because you didn't have that door open. And when he told me that, I was like, you right. I mean, I'm not going to see some people when it comes to their children, yeah, I get up in arms, but when you right, you right. I understood that when my son got his ticket, he thought he didn't know the process because I could have got him out of it, but the door was not open for him to just tell me, Daddy, I got a speeding ticket, and it just be this lovely, pleasant place. I've never put my hands on none of my children. Well, I spanked Snell once, but I had to. But the rest of them I ain't never touched. And I said that, and Mo was like, "Well, bro, that wasn't a safe place for him." And what he said is true. We think that. Let me back up. I thought that I was just this open lane for my kids when they get in trouble to tell me. But when I talked to him about it after I finished cussing, yelling, spitting, and all that other shit, he told me, he was like, I didn't want to disappoint you because you've done all this for me. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was a letdown because I'm like, no matter what I've done for you, I'm still your daddy. Mm-hmm. I ain't your friend. I ain't your homie. I'm your daddy. And as your daddy, I felt like I had created this space for him that you can come to me with anything, but it ain't there.
Okay. So you know why I'm looking at you, right?
What's that?
Because you know I'm going to throw it at you, and I'm not getting on you. But this is what I was telling you about that sex thing and having that door open.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I was telling you. Even though you saying you don't supposed to do this and do that, I was telling you it's always the better have that door open, because who is the best person for them to come to is you.
And I get that, but I will say this. When it comes to that talk, their mother should have it first. I will say that.
With the son?
With all of them. That's just how Tina's fucking set up. Yeah, Tina needs to do it first. I'll come behind it because Mama gonna tell him some things that may be a little bit more compassionate, maybe a little bit more compassionate, maybe a little bit more sensual, maybe a little bit more structured. Daddy gonna come. I ain't really want to talk to my daughters. I remember my daughter first had, whatever she had going on. I cried for the whole weekend. I just cried, and I didn't understand why I was crying, but I was crying. Mama in my relationships, Mama need to talk to him before Daddy do.
Yeah. And I need to talk to the girls, and I'm not gonna keep giving the same story, but I'm glad that she didn't hide anything from me. And then I didn't have to sit down and have a conversation with them. But the disappointment is they still had an outlet. When my oldest daughter had a situation, she still went to Mama. And then Mama came to me, and then she made my daughter explain it to me. Didn't belittle her, didn't embarrass her. Tell your father what's going on. Didn't ask me what happened. She had to give me no details. This is what's going on, Daddy. And all I said is, I'm not going to lecture you now. You're learning from this experience right now. So we got this. You was hard-headed, but we gave you the tools. Now you got to deal with it, but we'll be supportive. And that's all I'm saying is to make sure you have those doors. Did you have those doors open for you?
My mama said I could talk to her about anything and everything. She said the same thing for my brother. She like, and I'm so grateful that me and my mom have this relationship because a lot of people don't have it, and you can tell it. They don't like to see you interact with your own parents, and it's crazy.
That's true.
But my mom, like, we didn't. I don't think we had the talk because I was so young when my first cycle started. I think I was 8,
Whoa.
9. And she's like, I didn't get a chance to have the talk with you
Right.
before it even happened. So now we're here.
Right.
But we took it in stride. She
Yes.
wasn't mad about it. I didn't know what was going on when she found out. She's like, oh,
Mhm.
dog already? Like, it wasn't even a bad thing. And I'm glad for that. Now, there's been times where, like, say I got bad grades in school and I didn't want to tell my dad about it because he's the one paying and here I am getting bad grades. That disappointment was already there in me. I already wanted to do better, but I still had to be able to talk to him about this. And like even when I got my first speeding ticket, the first thing I did was call my mom. Mom, I got pulled over 2 turns from the house. And she was on the phone with me the whole time. When I came home, she was like, "Now you good?" I say, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, now I'm gonna talk at you." That's fine.
Gotcha.
But the door was still open. She never belittled me for getting into trouble. She never made me feel less than for getting in
Who
trouble.
told your daddy about the ticket though? Did she tell him or you had to tell him?
I think I did. I think I did.
And how and
He didn't say nothing about it.
Who
Yeah, I was
was-
going to say, I think your dad
My
is
dad is the chill
more,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
My mom is the hard nose.
and I get that, but you know whether you chill and people y'all might think that I'm crazy when I say this, but I'm the chill parent with my children, with my older 3. I think I am the chill parent.
So let me just say this because I want to make sure I say this because I heard what Veronica said earlier, and I agree with that when it comes down to like classmates. But I grew up in a neighborhood. When I say a neighborhood, I live here and right around the corner. So it's about 14 of us. My parents knew all parents. All parents could supervise us. So it's interesting you said one of my friends, sister's friends, had her cycle at 8 or 9 as well. And when we stayed over at the house, the mother was strict. She was strict. Girls is here, boys is here.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
Shut that down at
And
that
there were
point.
certain conversations that we learned as young kids that adults didn't sit there and talk adult stuff with us, but we knew what a cycle was. And when that young girl had a cycle at 9 years old, I remember coming home and having a conversation with my mother. And now my mother says, yes, she said, you're not a girl, so I've never said this to you. But yes, girls can start blah, 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 blah. See, this is what I'm saying. For us as kids, we governed ourselves. We moved differently. I had a key around my neck at 11 going in and out of the house. So we were governed differently. So we saw things differently. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, the teenagers that were ahead of us, 3 and 4 years old, I don't know why they even look older. 16 and 17, they had beards. They moved like men. So we came behind them. We came behind our big brothers. My big brother at 17 didn't wear sneakers. I wear sneakers today. He didn't wear sneakers. He dressed as a grown man. So we were patterned to do this. That's what I'm saying. A lot of times we baby our kids. I am so glad that they had that open because if you don't know, then you can wind up in a jam, and then it's too late when I should have, but you didn't.
So, Neek made a comment. She said, and to each his own. Neek says, I feel like
Man.
men should talk to their sons first. To maybe, if that's her opinion. That's her opinion.
I mean, I agree with
But-
I would do it if I had a son.
But me personally, I know him and his mama had that talk way before me and him had that talk, and I'm glad she had that talk. And that's just how my life is set up. Their mom she's a lovely person. I'm gonna just say that. But she, boy, Tina's something else, boy.
But did she take control?
Oh yeah.
And that's it.
Oh yeah.
And you expect that, Victor. So
And-
you knew what she was going to do and what she's not going to do.
Well,
You
it's
understand?
and you know, with the whole co-parenting thing, is more or less tend to your mama first. I'll be okay. You know, I don't want to take any shine away from her. Let her have her, cake and eat it too. I'm not saying she's a bad person because she's not. We had 3 kids together. But there are certain things that mean so much to her that I'm willing to say you can have that. If you felt like having a sex talk with our kids was that detrimental and you being first, then didn't have it. Sometimes, the cleanup man is the cleanup man. I can have it second and I do my thing. It's not all about, I don't think, coming to the term of first, but I would like to have the sex talk before, you have sex versus we talking about sex after something doesn't happen.
Again, this is hypothetical.
Okay.
Do you, it's hypothetical, but I think you can answer this. If your children decided to have sex early, do you think you would have responded differently to the male and the female?
Most definitely. If my son had sex first, I would be disappointed if he had it, before now. I don't know what he's got going on. I don't ask. But if I thought he was having sex now, I would be very disappointed. Because that is not what me and his mother has instilled into him, but he's his own man. If my daughters was having sex right now, I'd be shitting. You know what I'm saying? But there's really nothing I can do because, it's their body. They do what they want to do. So I would be very disappointed with any of them if they were having sex, I don't even know what early is, bro. Like,
These days.
I mean, I went by early. I lost my virginity at 13. That was I wasn't responsible enough to even, I shouldn't have been having sex. But I'm glad that my kids made it at least past where I was. So I will say that. I hope they did. Let me just say that.
Right. I'm telling you, these kids start early out here these days, though.
Very early. I
Yeah,
think
it's-
when I was in 6th grade, we had one classmate that came in late because she had a baby at 6th grade.
Yeah,
was just
that
like,
we had one
wow.
of them too.
Yeah.
I told you what happened in 5th grade with my friends, and it's female. So this was
Oh.
not new. I mean, some of my friends was active in the 4th grade. Parents worked. They sneak a girl in their basement. And we unsupervised, don't know what they're doing, and this, that, and the other. But these are the things, because we are going to talk and experiment. And now they got computers on their hip. They got computers on their hip.
Find out all the
And then
experiences
there's
going
no
on.
separation from adult stuff. At least when I come up, they fought against putting stickers on CDs. Now they just say anything. I have a problem with parents just blurting out and doing anything and twerking in front of their little babies, and then having their babies twerk and do grown stuff at parties and think it's cute. I think it's irresponsible, and I ain't never gonna back up. And then when your kids come up in ratchet asses, then I look at y'all as the blame. Fatine said it. Come at me. When y'all are ratchet and you teach your babies ratchet shit, and then when they come up and their ass is in jail, they got 5 kids at 16 and not responsible, can't hell with y'all. Because y'all could do a better damn job.
So Miss Jacqueline says each parent plays a very vital point in talking with their children. Each parent in most cases hold a certain degree with their children to be first their parent and listening ear support system. Always keep an open relationship with them. 99% they will come to you with any and all to talk to you. Oh man, I wish I'd have proofread this. I guess does then in all we learn with our children, yet we have a role of them looking up to us. I'm thankful I can equally talk to my son's daughter foremost. I'm their parent first, and each child is different. Just my opinion. She was making a lot of. I'm sorry. I don't. Some of the stuff I'm in control of the comments. So some of the things I see, and some things they don't see. But it was one more thing I wanted to get to that Mr. Tyrone said. He says, but we got 17 to 18-year-old people defending our country. It's about, I can't read it. It's about what is being instilled in them, not what they can do. So me being, I joined the Marine Corps right after I got out of high school. And I will say this, the service ain't for everybody, but you're going to have some responsibility and you're going to have some form of accountability, some form of pride, and some form of confidence or arrogance, however you look at it, when you go into the service. Now, I went in 1999 and graduated. I was the last class to graduate in the 90s, whatever. The new military now is soft as shit. They soft. There's no pride. I've watched videos of how the Marine Corps looks now. I went through the crucible. We did pugil sticks, a little. It wasn't really like boxing, but they took that away. There's a lot of things that they no longer do in the military. Like, they let these guys have their phones. I didn't talk to my mother for 3 months. There was no talking. And I felt like that builds character. But is that too hard? I don't think so. To me, that's tradition. How you earn your blood stripes. When I picked up corporal, they took the pins out and they each, as you walk down the line, every MCO, he crushed your chevrons into your damn collarbone. That was tradition. As you walk down, they knee you in your leg. That was a blood stripe tradition. That's considered hazing now.
Yeah.
Some people, and y'all saying, yeah, but when I picked up corporal, I wanted that. Now, with that whole shit with the paddling and the fraternities, I don't know anything about that. If somebody don't want to be paddled, don't do it. But what I'm saying is, if this is what I'm asking for, and this was part of the NCO tradition, me getting, my NCO sword and all this other shit, don't take that away from me. Now, you better not do no shit like that in the Marine Corps, especially in formation, and let, the higher ups see you. But, yeah.
I'm not going to comment on that. I just not going to comment on that. I'm going to just leave that where it's at. So the other day, when in essence, Sexy Red was there. And my thing is, it's interesting. They didn't bring her over. So I could have I could have interviewed her if I chose to. The question is, was she ready to be interviewed? See, the difference is I watched some of Sexy Red interviews. And when she's asked certain things that she don't like or she can't answer, she gets a little indignant or don't want to answer. I go back to Little Kim, and I seen Little Kim come in to Hot 97. I know Little Kim, and she came into Hot 97 and sat at the table with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre, not Dr. Dre West Coast, but Dr. Dre on the East Coast. And they asked questions, and she responded. And when they asked her, what about your music being promoted to children? She said it shouldn't be promoted to children. What I'm doing, I'm an adult. That should be. I mean, they fought about stickers and this. This should not be promoted to children. I have a right to do this as an adult. She does. But have a conversation when people have concerns. And that's the problem. Is that a lot of people do what they choose to do today as adults because you have the right to do it. But when you are influencing so many younger kids, where does the responsibility come in right there? You understand? So, again, you can do what you want to do, but our parents didn't blur the lines. You understand? When they had the Richard Pryor. My father came to me, and he's like, he heard us sneaking listening to Richard Pryor. I think I was 15, 16. And he caught. He walked up on us. He said, look, I know you're a young man. First of all, I got you. You want to listen to Richard Pryor? Cool. But not out in the street. That's disrespectful to an adult walking by, an elder person walking by, or even a younger kid that shouldn't hear y'all listening to that because it makes it look like it's appropriate. He was like, you do that if your parents allow. Because I can't tell, my father said, I can't tell these other kids what they can do. You understand? So it comes a time about drawing that line and about responsibility as parents. And a lot of times as parents don't want to look at the crap that we've done, and then when our children come out, a lot of times a lot of parents do good and their kids come out. But a lot of times when you invest in your kids, you invest in your kids, you invest in kids, and you talk about what your parents invested in you.
Mm-hmm.
You look at what comes out of that, you see that it's not a commonality when you invest to get a lot of bad. But when you invest a lot of bad, you get more bad than good. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I say to some parents, you need to look in the mirror before you start saying this, that, and the other. You got to look in the mirror and how you raise your children.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say back to Sexy Red. Let's just not, these a lot of these young artists that's coming up, they're being just rushed and pushed into the industry nowadays. So I mean, you gotta understand, she's still a little.
Oh, she's being
afraid.
manipulated.
She's
No,
like,
she's being manipulated. And you
and
look
I-
at
and
the
I
system
get
that they're
that.
coming into.
I like her. I like everything about her. That girl, in my opinion, is who she wants to be. And I don't feel like, censorship of her is the right thing. If you don't want your kids listening to it, that's on the parent.
That's what I'm saying. It's on the
that's
parent.
that's on the
But
parent.
that's what I said. But the reason why I didn't interview her because I watched, and I'm not going to throw the girl under the bus. I'll just present the questions to
Yeah.
you. But if you want to sit down with me and say what you want to say, I'm going to ask what I want to ask.
I mean, that's
And I'm not going to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
But that's why I use Little Kim, Foxy Brown, because they did the interviews. They did those interviews. What's her name? Trina. They did those interviews.
that
They
was-
didn't run
that
from
was a-
those
that
interviews.
was a different time too. I mean,
Big-
you know.
What
That's-
are we saying? This time ain't shit? That's what we trying to
No,
say?
I'm not
This time
saying
ain't
that,
shit.
but
That's
I'm
what we saying.
Like, there's just it goes deeper than when we was,
It does.
when we was coming up. There's the world is different.
It goes deep if I like you too.
Oh,
I see hater number 2.
where she been at all night?
Hater number 2 is in the building. Hater
No,
number
you're not a
damn.
hater, but I knew he was talking about you.
Hater
so
number
that's-
damn 2.
I saw when you came in. But we're going to wrap it up. Well, closing thoughts on the email letter, which was a very, very good email letter. We appreciate you, young lady, for writing in, but we're going to close it out.
Okay.
Closing remarks. Victor?
I still stand on what I say about the younger generation. They're and being a parent of the younger generation, 49% of that is my fault because I think Tyrone did say it in the comment section. People who grow up poor or not with a lot tend to give their kids what they didn't have. I didn't have a lot growing up. Shit, it is what it is. My mother did the best job that she could, and she provided me in a home that was, it was cool and all. I don't know the sacrifices my mother made. I can only imagine, but I have laid a lot of shit down for my kids that they will never know what I did or ever hopefully never have to do. And maybe on my deathbed may tell them, I had to do this, this, and this to get you there. But I still think that this younger generation, Gen Z, has a lot of growing up to do. And it's almost too late to teach them exactly what needs to be taught. And I'm going to just leave it at that.
Well, I'm a millennial, so I'm a generation above Gen Z. So I kind of agree. Gen Z is kind of worrisome even for me. But in terms of the letter, like, I'm on the other. I'm getting to the other side. I'm not all the way on the other side, but I'm getting to the other side. I'm on the brighter side of that growing experience. And you really just have to take things like one day at a time. One day at a time, one thing at a time. If you look at the bigger picture, you're gonna get overwhelmed. You have to start working it simple. Go out, get your money at work, go home, and work on yourself after that.
For me, for the letter for the young lady, there's a difference from getting advice and then allowing people's opinions to weigh you down. You understand? And what they think about you at 28 years old. There's nothing wrong with getting advice on things, but you have to make your decision. And when do you stand up and say, I got to take control of my life? So, bottom line is, I'm not telling you not to listen to other people. When I say listen, but when it comes down to making that final decision, you got to live your life. And if you continue to live your life for other people, then who are you? If you become them and you try to please everybody and don't please yourself, and then you look one day in the mirror and you'll be like, who am I? Because I'm not happy with myself, because you never listened to yourself. You never found out who you were and made the decisions that you need to make. So stand up, get advice, but make your own decisions.
And you all had great advice. Once again, thank you to the young lady that wrote the letter. We know it's tough out here for these young adults. Even, like I said, we in our 40s, and some of us still don't know, where we're going in life. So, shouts out to this young lady that took her time to write into the show to get some advice from the panel. Don't beat yourself up. You still have, ways to go to figure this thing called life out. We have to, and you have to stop looking on the outside and look within yourself. Stop worrying about what your friends are doing and what they have, what jobs they have, what cars they drive in, and all that stuff. And focus on you and getting yourself right. Surround yourself around people that's thinking the same way as you. Don't surround yourself around people that don't want anything out of life. Don't know where they're going to be next week. You know what I'm saying? Surround yourself around good-minded people, and you're going to be okay. This thing called life, like I said, some of us are still trying to figure this thing out. So don't beat yourself up. And it was something so important that I was going to say while Fatine was talking, and I forgot what it was. But yeah, just keep living, young lady, and know, and hopefully that you have family around you that support you and can lead you in the right direction. But you have to stop comparing yourself to other people. That's the biggest part. And stop listening to the ones that are not, giving you good advice, And I say again, that was my main thing when I was coming up, worrying about, how my parents was going to react, or how my family members, how they was going to react at a decision, or, a choice that I made in life. But we have to live for us, and we have to, do things that's going to make us happy and not people around us. Yeah, you care about what your parents, think or saying, but you have to live for you. Surround yourself around good vibes, good energy, and just continue living, and everything's going to fall in place, and keep praying. So once again, thank you to that young lady that wrote the email letter. It was a great email letter, and hopefully we brought something to you that can open your eyes and help you out. All right. All hearts and minds are cleared. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all so much for watching Tangy Tea of Life. We appreciate y'all each and every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Until, what does Quran say? Make choices that you will be able to live with and be proud of. Exactly. That's true. So, guys, if you would like to be a guest on Tangy Tea of Life, if you have an email letter or a topic suggestion, hit us up at tangyteaoflife@gmail.com. All right. Until then, y'all have a great night. God bless. Enjoy your rest of your week. Enjoy the weekend. And just love upon the ones you love. Good night.
Buenas noches.
Thank you.